go let that thing get warmed up and go take a spin in the buggy. Hey everybody, welcome to Yellow Dog Farm.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Well, it's time for the 250-hour service for our 2019 John Deere 5075 tractor. I've already done the engine oil filter and hydraulic filter change in a previous video, so I'm going to go ahead and put that link up above so you can take a look at that and don't have to watch it twice. Except for the part where I drop the oil plug, splash, and get oil all over myself.
Glad I decided to do work in here today.
Well, the oil change is all done. Everything's great. Looked a little over full until I started and ran it for a little bit. Got some oil in the filter and it's just perfect. So glad that that's done. This is the air cleaner and it has this little purge valve so you can clear it out if you might have a bunch of stuff there, and it just amazed me. Look at that, it just came off. It was just full of seeds and all this other kind of crazy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the air cleaner and we'll go ahead and clean out the filters. Oh wow, this thing's a mess. There's the inside of it. So this has two filters, an outer and an inner, and you just go ahead and pull this one off, and it is just coated in dirt and dust. Dirt's just falling out of it. So I'll go take this one out and spray it, and I just might go buy a new one. I've got to go to the store and get a fuel filter anyway. But well, I'm not going to break up with John Deere over this fuel filter, but we are definitely not talking. And it is beyond flowers and candy stage. I was absolutely hot getting this thing out of the tractor here. I'll show you this assembly real quick, and it seems really straightforward, right? Filter, fuel filter, glass bowl, and a drain. What they tell you to do in the instructions is to hook a tube to this so that you can drain down into a bucket. Well, there's only one way to reach this thing, and that's up from below. And the second that you get it hooked up, it just takes a little bit of wiggling and the thing falls right down. So if I were you, I wouldn't even bother with the little hose. And I was really nervous as I undid this that I'd have diesel fuel just gushing everywhere. Hardly any diesel came out, so don't worry about that. Or I'll say for me, it wasn't a big problem. Now, what they tell you to do is to go ahead and undo this so you can drain. Well, the problem is that this drain plug was actually torqued tighter than the attachment to the fuel filter. So what would happen is you would go to undo this and the bowl comes off. So I was super freaked out. I didn't know if I was gonna have diesel everywhere. At the end of the day, I finally gave up and I just took the darn thing off. And then it says, remove the glass bowl. Well, you cannot remove the glass bowl from the tractor until you have taken this filter all the way out. I'm gonna quickly put this on here, and here's where it goes. And as you can see, I can barely get this thing in here. But you cannot get that bowl out. There's physically not enough space with all these metal lines to go ahead and pull it out. So what they mean when they say in the manual to remove the bowl is to just unscrew it and let it lie down here amongst these metal lines. You cannot get it out. Or I'll say it different. I couldn't get the darn thing out. So that was frustration number one. So I went ahead, after I'd done that and just a little bit of diesel came out, well then we were fine. And then they talk about the wire bundle on the side, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But you gotta undo the whole, the whole bowl, just leave it lay there, and then go ahead and take the filter out, and you'll be fine. They say in the manual to look at the gasket and make sure that it doesn't need to be repaired or replaced. Well, the gasket comes on the filter. This is exactly what they're talking about. It's absolutely flat up here, and there's no other filter. So don't panic and look around like I did for 5 minutes looking for a gasket that doesn't exist. When you open up the filter, it's going to come with 2 of these rubber gaskets. They're not for the filter. They don't fit around here or anything. They are for the water separator here. So you go ahead and just pull this one out and clean. There's actually quite a bit of stuff there, so I'm going to go ahead and pause and clean that out. And then the drain here has one as well. So these go into the glass bowl for it being separated. Now let me show you this wire bundle. So there's the fuel filter attach point right there, and I'm going to rotate around this big metal arm and show you the wire bundle here. I'm going to try to do this so it'll be a little challenging, and it's even more frustrating holding a camera when you're doing it by yourself. But what happens is this bundle sits right in like that. I'm not going to click it shut because I had to fiddle around with it. So they of course painted everything over green, so it's hard to tell. But what you do is you get the flat blade of a screwdriver and you get it up in there and you wiggle this, and then all of a sudden the snap comes loose and it just pops right off. So you can see there, once you get it off, it's really easy to see that it's got the pressure activated piece. But when it's the first time you're playing around with the fuel system and you don't want to make a spark, it's not so fun. So anyway, I'm going to get this thing cleaned up. I'm going to get these onto the bowl, and then we'll be on with the program. Okay, we're gonna undo the bleed screw. See a little bit of fuel dripping out there. says to pump it until it's firm. Open it back up again. Okay, I'm just getting straight fuel, so I think we got it bled. That was pretty straightforward. You look sure no help right now. You need to move. Well, all right, here's where we're at. All the oil and hydraulic stuff's done. The fuel filter's changed. I started the belt off camera. Y'all didn't need to see that. Neutral start check was really easy, and of course lubricating the 3-point hitch is no big deal. Looked at the battery, the tires, and got the bucket lubricated. So we're going to move on to checking the oil level in the axle and hubs. Well, you just want to make sure that your oil level line is horizontal, and then just use your 1/2-inch socket to go ahead and open up the plug. When you do open it, you want the fluid level to be even with the top of the hole. I had a little extra and just cleaned it up. I put some thread sealant onto the threads. You guys let me know if I did too much or too little. I've never done it before, so we'll see if I lose any. And then I went ahead and used a torque wrench to go ahead and set the torque on this. I've never used one before, so you see that's why you see me click it 3 times. But it was 52 foot-pounds to go ahead and set it. Okay, the front axle plug is right there under the steering arm. We'll crawl under there and go get it. It was a little hard getting it broke loose, but now maybe I can do it. Yeah, it's got fluid. It says it should be about a 1/2 inch from the top, but clearly we got plenty. Well, you guys, we're all done. Biggest part of the whole 250-hour service was the fuel filter, so pay particular attention to that part of the video, and all the rest of it is pretty darn straightforward, so happy farming.